welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be all about the low back. So without further ado, let's kick it to the intro and then kick it into our video for the day. What's up guys, it's Alyssa here. Down into a child's pose, so your version, whether you bring the knees in a little bit closer, knees are out wider, maybe knees go all the way out to the width of the mat, coming into our wide-legged child's pose, whatever your body's feeling in this moment. So begin to sink the forehead and sink the heart down towards the mat. Hands can be extended forward or hands can be reaching back towards the feet. And then taking a moment here as we begin to find our breath. So on that inhale, really feeling the sensation of the back body expanding. On the exhale, squeezing the belly towards the spine, releasing all of that air. And when we release all of that air, really allow yourself to soften into the body here. Begin to really relax. Letting anything that really isn't meant to serve you in your practice in this moment really begin to melt away. Allowing yourself to release the mind and take yourself deeper into your body. And in this moment, as we continue to bring the breath into the practice, really noticing how the body is feeling. So noticing how the energy is feeling. Maybe we're a little tired today. Maybe we're a little more awake. Noticing how that is playing out in the body, whether we're feeling some tension. And with each exhale, noticing how the energy is beginning to shift and really allowing any places that we're holding tension to really soften here. So we're going to take 3 more breaths. Last big inhale. Exhale, here we are in this moment. So wherever our hands are, whether we took them back towards the feet, we're going to extend fingertips forward, begin to plant the fingertips down into the mat. And then on your next inhale, we're going to begin to find a cat-cow motion, but with a little more movement involved. So when we inhale, we're going to send, we're lifting the hips off of the heels. So we're lifting ourselves up as we find a cow. So really arching the back here. On the exhale, you're going to round the spine, and you're going to send it all the way back towards the heels. So inhale, we're sending our heart through the arms. Exhale, rounding it back. Inhale as we come forward. Exhale, we're taking it back. We're going to do 2 more. And last one. And then on that exhale, when we come up into our cow, our cats, we're gonna stay lifted. We're beginning to walk the knees in, feet are behind the knees as we find our foundation for our tabletop, So on your next inhale, you're just gonna flow back into your neutral tabletop as we exhale here. And then beginning to inhale, we're going to send our right fingertips up above us. And then exhale, we're threading the needle as we come all the way down. Left hand's going to extend forward. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes of our left foot And then begin to lift that left leg. So know that if this is too much for you, just keep the knee released down on the mat. Just allowing yourself to continue to find your breath here, softening into that right shoulder. Then on your next exhale, we're going to slide our left hand underneath our shoulder. Beginning to press up. As we inhale, we're going to extend the right fingertips back up on our exhale. So if we don't have that leg extended, at this point we want to extend that left leg back. We're going to slide the left foot over to the right. And so we're taking right fingertips up, left foot's going over towards the right as we find a little twist here. When we inhale, we're going to come through to center, lifting that left foot off of the mat and extending right fingertips forward as we find our stability here. And then on your exhale, we're going to release back down into our tabletop. And inhale, we're going to flow into a cat or a cow. Don't know why I'm switching those up today. Exhale, round into cat. One more inhale, flow down into your cow. Exhale, rounding into cat. And bringing ourselves back to our neutral tabletop. On your next inhale, left fingertips extend up above you. And exhale, we thread the needle as we come down. Right fingertips are going to extend forward. Then we're tucking the toes of the right foot as we extend the leg, or we're keeping that leg, or we're keeping the knee down on the mat. And then on your next exhale, we're sliding that right hand underneath the shoulder. Inhale, we're coming up with the left fingertips extended up above us. Exhale, we're sending that right foot over to the left, finding a little bit of a twist here. Then on your next exhale, we're going to send everything through to center, lifting right foot off the mat. Keep the left fingertips extended forward. And then on your next exhale, release it back down to your neutral tabletop. And we're going to inhale, flow through a few more rounds of our cat-cow. So really connecting to your breath here. One more round. And then inhale, we're going to come back through to that tabletop. Exhale, we're going to lift our feet off the mat as we inhale here. And on our exhale, we're going to bend the elbows in towards our side, begin to lower all the way down to your belly. And then inhale, releasing tops of the feet to the mat. We lift the head and chest coming into low cobra. And we're going to hold here for 2 breaths. So allowing the breath to flow a movement here. And one more inhale. As we exhale, releasing the forehead, we're going to inhale up into tabletop. Exhale as we tuck the toes, send it up into your first downward facing dog. So begin to take this moment, we can pedal the feet out. Find any movement to really work into those hamstrings and the hips to really make the body feel good in this posture. Until we eventually bring ourselves in through to stillness, inviting the heels to melt down towards the mat and relaxing the shoulders. Take 2 more breaths here. Then as we take the gaze to the top of the mat, we're going to take an inhale. On our exhale, we're stepping that right foot forward. Left knee's going to release. And then as we inhale, we're going to rise up into our low lunge. So really drawing the hip bones up towards the shoulder blades here. Find a little more activity instead of just dumping into the pose. Take one more breath. And then on your exhale, you're going to send your right foot back behind you. So we're coming to stand up on our knees. Bringing the hands to heart center here. And on your next inhale, you're just going to send the fingertips up above you. Exhale, take the hands to your low back. Begin to press the hips forward. And then reaching the gaze up towards the ceiling. So noticing if you're getting to kind of lean back here. So still finding our hips over the knees. We're just pressing hips forward, squeezing the glutes together to protect the low back. And then on your next exhale, slowly bring yourself back through to center. We're going to come sit back down on our heels. As we inhale, extend the fingertips up. Exhale, we're going to find a twist to the right. You can release the hands down. Inhale, back through to center. Exhale, twisting to the left. Big inhale brings us back through to center. On our exhale, we're going to come back to that tabletop as we lift the feet. Exhale, we're drawing the elbows in towards our side, lower down to the belly. Inhale, come up into your low cobra. Exhale, we're releasing down as we inhale up into tabletop. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. One breath. And we send that gaze to the top of the mat. We're stepping the left foot forward. Exhale, we're releasing the right knee. As we inhale, we're rising up into that low lunge. So once again, find, instead of dumping here, we're really drawing hip bones up towards the shoulder blades, finding a little more of an activity here. One more breath. And then on your next exhale, releasing the hands down to the mat. We're going to tuck the right toes, lifting that right leg, stepping it forward into our forward fold. So big inhale, lifting up halfway. Exhale as we soften down. We're going to take the feet out to the edge of the mat. Grabbing a hold of opposite elbow, we begin to sway from side to side. So keep connecting to your breath. One more sway motion here. As you begin to bring yourself through to stillness, we're going to inhale, just lift up halfway. Exhale, soften down, bring the feet back in towards each other. Then we're going to inhale, send the left toes back behind you. Exhale, releasing your left knee. And then from here, keeping the hands planted on the mat, we're going to sink our hips forward, taking one breath. And taking one more inhale here. And then on your exhale, you're just going to begin to walk the hands back, straightening that right leg as much as you can, lifting the toes up towards the ceiling. So don't worry about if there's a bend in your knee, just coming back as much as your hamstrings will allow. And then really beginning to draw, so we're squaring the hips, so draw your right hip back, left hip forward, and begin to fold down. I'm really seeing how much you can soften into the hamstrings here. And then on your next exhale, slowly begin to walk the hands forward. We're going to plant that right foot. Sink your hips for one inhale. And your exhale, you're going to tuck the toes of your left foot, extending the leg up. And then from here, we're going to step right foot back into a three-legged dog. And you're going to bend your knees, send the foot over towards the left. So making sure we're still squaring the hips forward. And then on your next exhale, we're sending that right knee forward. So we're taking right knee behind right wrist. as the right foot extends out to the left. Left leg is releasing down, extending it back. And we're going to inhale, reach the heart forward, lifting up on our fingertips. And then on our exhale, we can stay lifted. We can lower down to the forearms. We can come all the way down over the leg, coming as far as we can go as we set up for our pigeon. And then wherever we're at, beginning to soften into that right hip. And then on your next exhale, we're going to slowly walk the hands back towards us if we lower down. Slowly kind of lift up, coming into a tabletop position, taking the hips from right to left. Then beginning to walk the hands back towards the knees. We're coming to lift back up onto the knees. Inhale, once more, we send the fingertips up. Exhale, take them to the low back, press the hips forward, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. So a little bit of a modified version of our camel pose. On the next exhale, come back through to center, sending the hands down to the mat as you lift your feet, take it all the way back down to your belly. And then as we inhale, releasing the feet, we lift up into that little cobra. Exhale, we lower down. Inhale, we're coming up to tabletop. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Big inhale here. And then on your next exhale, sending the left foot forward as we release the right knee. Hands are staying planted. Take the gaze forward as we sink the hips for one breath. And then on your next exhale, we're walking the hands back, straightening that left leg as much as you can. Lifting the toes up towards the ceiling as we soften down. Then on your next exhale, walking the hands forward, plant the foot, sink the hips, one big inhale. Exhale, we're tucking the toes of our right foot, lifting that right leg, we're going to slide it back into a three-legged dog. As we bend the left knee and the foot slightly to the right, keeping the shoulders square to the top of the mat. And then on your next exhale, sending that left knee behind your left wrist. Right leg is extending back. As we inhale, reach your heart forward. And then exhale, softening down as far as you can go. And then on your next exhale, we're walking it back. You're going to slide it back into that tabletop position. And beginning to sway the hips from left to right. As we bring ourselves through to stillness, big inhale, tucking the toes. Exhale, we're going to send it up into our last downward facing dog. Take a big inhale, maybe noticing how the heels come a little bit closer to the mat. On your exhale, take the gaze to the top of the mat, walking forward to your forward fold. As we inhale, we lift up halfway. On our exhale, we're going to take our two peace fingers. We're going to grab a hold of our big toes. Begin to draw the elbows down. So we're bending the elbows as we send ourselves over the legs, taking 3 breaths here. And we're going to inhale, straighten the arms, come up halfway. Exhale, releasing the toes. Begin to send the feet out to the edge of the mat. We want our toes to come out, heels are coming in. And then on your next exhale, begin to bend the knees or sinking the hips down towards the mat. Coming into our yogi squat or malasana. So you have the option here to have the hands at heart center, or hands can be resting down. Just making sure that we're pressing into the legs here. And also making sure that our heart is staying lifted. Gonna take one more breath. And then on your next exhale, you're gonna slowly somehow bring yourself down to seated. However you get there as you bring the knees in towards your chest. Big inhale, reach the heart forward, and then exhale, begin to round the spine, coming down to your back. Then once you come down, bring the knees in towards your chest, rock from side to side, give your low back a good massage here. And as we bring ourselves through to stillness, we're going to plant the feet down towards the sit bones. Beginning to extend our fingertips down towards the heels as we walk the shoulders underneath the back. And then on our next exhale, as we keep the gaze up towards the ceiling, we're pressing into the heels, lifting up into our bridge pose, maybe walking the shoulders underneath the back a little bit more. And then on your next exhale, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Take an inhale here, and then on our exhale, we're just going to begin to release the knees over towards the left, maybe taking the gaze over the right shoulder if it's comfortable in the neck as we come into our supine twist. Inhale, we're going to send our gaze back up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, you're going to take your hand to your right leg. You're going to begin to press it open and then continue to allow it to open. So we're pressing the feet in towards each other. Knees are just falling open here. Hands can rest down at your side or on your belly. Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined bound angle. And then on your next exhale, you're going to take your hand to your left knee, and you're going to press it all the way over to the right, coming into your twist on the right side. On your next exhale, we're going to bring everything through to center, knees into your chest. We're going to lift up, curling into a ball. And then on your next inhale, extend it out, find a full body stretch. And then on your exhale, we get to set up for that beautiful pose of our Shavasana. As we extend the fingertips down towards the hips, allowing them to fall a little bit away from the hips instead of drawing them right in next towards the hips. Walking the shoulders underneath the back. Allow the palms to face up to soften the shoulders, but to also receive all that good energy you just put into the room that you're in. Really allowing your feet to just fall away from each other. Allow the face to soften, the body softens, allowing it to be supported by your mat. As you release the practice, release the breath. Really allowing yourself to your body to rejuvenate itself, to be reborn. As I always say, stay here as long as you need, or if you want to go into a meditative pose, you can always do that. giving yourself this time to honor your body and to allow it to reset. So I definitely recommend not skipping this pose. And I thank you always for coming to practice with me, as the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.